Most people focus on the moment production ends, the announcement, the press release, the final batch rolling off the line. The words, "This will no longer be made." But the real story doesn't start there. It starts the day after. Because the end of production isn't the end of the collectible's life. It's the beginning of a completely different phase, one most people don't understand until they're already inside it. Today, we're looking at what really happens after production ends. When hype fades, supply freezes, demand quietly reshapes itself, and long-term consequences begin to unfold without headlines. This is the day after production ended. Let's start with the moment everyone remembers. Production ends. Sometimes it's announced years in advance. Sometimes it's sudden. Sometimes it's wrapped in celebration. Final edition, last run, collector's farewell. At the time, it usually feels logical. Sales slowed, costs increased, trends moved on, or the brand simply decided it was time. Collectors hear the news and immediately make assumptions. They assume prices will rise immediately, scarcity will automatically mean value. Everyone will suddenly want what's gone. At the time, this decision makes sense. Production ends, supply stops, value should go up. That's the story people tell themselves in the moment. The day after, things still look fine. Listings spike online. Social media fills with last chance posts. Prices creep up, sometimes sharply. There's reassurance everywhere. Collectors feel smart for holding. Sellers feel validated. Buyers feel urgency. Nothing feels broken. In fact, it feels like the decision worked. The collectible is suddenly talked about more than it was when it was still being made. This is the calm after the announcement, and before the real transformation begins. This is where the invisible shifts begin. No more fresh supply means no more natural price anchors. Every remaining item now competes only with perception. Behavior changes quietly. Collectors stop using items and start preserving them. Casual owners become reluctant sellers. Speculators enter, not because they love the object, but because they love the story. New pressures appear. Condition becomes everything. Packaging matters more. Provenance starts to matter for the first time. Small compromises appear. Restorations are tolerated. Reproductions blur lines. Near mint slowly stretches its definition. None of this feels dramatic, but this is where the future value is actually being shaped. The consequences don't arrive loudly, they arrive slowly. Months later, liquidity changes, fewer transactions happen, prices stop moving, not because demand vanished, but because confidence stalled. Years later, divisions appear. The truly rare examples pull away in value. Average examples stagnate. Poor condition pieces quietly fall behind. When prices suddenly crash, people act surprised, but nothing broke overnight. The market didn't fail. It simply finished adjusting to a reality it hadn't fully priced in yet. Most people don't ignore problems, they simply don't see them yet. Cognitive bias convinces us scarcity always wins. Overconfidence makes us believe our item is the good one. Process blindness hides how markets actually mature. There's emotional investment. People don't just own the collectible, they own the story they told themselves about it. And once time passes, organizational inertia sets in. Prices don't fall because no one wants to admit they should. This isn't foolishness, it's human. People with experience don't judge collectibles by the moment production ends. They watch what happens after. They ask, who is still buying and why? Are new collectors entering or only existing ones trading? Is usage disappearing or evolving? Are prices rising with volume or just listings? They monitor behavior, not hype. They expect change. And they know that the real test of a collectible isn't whether it survives production ending, it's whether it finds relevance after it. The lesson isn't, don't collect discontinued items. The lesson is, plan for the day after. One mindset shift matters most. Production ending creates potential, not guarantees. One framing principle, Value comes from sustained meaning, not frozen supply. One long-term question every collector should ask: who will care about this when today's excitement is gone? If you can answer that honestly, you're already ahead. Most collectibles don't fail when production ends. They succeed or fail in the days, months, and years that follow. If this changed how you think about discontinued collectibles, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. This is the day after, and next time we'll explore what happens after a collectible goes mainstream. Until then, keep collecting smarter. Brought to you by Collectiblepedia.